caught you jamming that time.
I be bopping, man. And we had some bloopers, man. You know, bloopers reel.
Blooper reel.
Dancing before every episode.
Run the footage.
Right. So you see what
man.
I got this right here, right? I see what you got, but you see what I got. I got a cup full of ice and some coffee.
Okay.
But mine is not actually, I got an espresso here. I got a latte.
You got an espresso.
You know, yeah. Now you were telling me there was a time that you know, you was getting a little shamed for drinking iced coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, very shame. I was put to shame for drinking iced coffee early on. It was not a manly thing to do to walk around with a cup of ice, a cup of coffee, a plastic cup of coffee with some ice in it. It was not the manly thing to do, drinking out the straw. You know what I'm saying? Doing one of these numbers.
Yeah. Couldn't do that back in the day, man. It didn't feel right.
Yeah, highly frowned upon.
The cold brew, when that came out, though, that did help a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Where you could look a little more masculine. Yeah, I got a cold brew.
Yeah,
the nitro cold brew.
Or
masculine stuff.
Or whatever. Or Dunkin' Donuts, and you ask for, hey, can I get a French vanilla iced coffee? It didn't sound right. Still don't sound right. It still don't sound right.
Yeah.
But you go back 10 years ago.
Like hated it a little bit. It does.
2 snaps. 2 snaps.
Hated it. It sounded like that a little bit, bro.
But hey, that was my way, man. That was the only way I like really drank coffee back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I drink coffee more regular now. Well, not regularly, but I'll drink it more regular now than I did before. The only way I would consume coffee was in the ice format with some flavor in it. That was my thing. You know what I'm saying? Especially and have a cigar with it too. It was a great match to me. But yeah, I got looked at as less than manly for doing such about 10 years ago. But now it's the wave. Everybody getting ice coffee.
I was one of those people insulting you too, though.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. You were one of them. Very much so. I got a distinct memory of you throwing out insults for me drinking iced coffee.
Yeah, pretty sure.
But I went to PJ's earlier today. So many dudes in there, you know what I'm saying, with their straw and their iced coffee.
Yeah, but today is a lot gayer than it was back then too.
You got a point. You have a point. A lot more influence on that side of things, to where it's more so regular now. So I guess. But
yeah. Hey man, but you know it's all good though, man. I joined. I was able to, and like I said, I got my little latte now, and it's a little, you know, it might be a little frisky too around. It might be a little of that too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but it's got espresso in it, so I lean on that. Espresso strong and manly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, but see, that's why when you mentioned
the cold brew welcomed me into that world a little bit though. The cold brew opened me in. You know, that's what the cold brew drinks opened me up to this a little bit more. Where I was like, you know,
so
I'm drinking cold.
It's different when you go to the restaurant. You ask for a cold brew. You know, that's more palatable to ask for, to make a request of. Let me get a cold brew instead of a vanilla latte, iced vanilla latte.
My cold brews used to be straight too. I didn't get nothing extra in it. However they handed it to me is how I was drinking it. You know what I'm saying? No,
yeah. And I know you to drink your coffee black.
Yeah. So this little color right here is out the ordinary for me. You know, and this looks a lot brighter on screen than it is in person. That's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I got some milk in it. You know what? That's the other thing. That the tummy don't deal well with that milk either, man. Maybe I can handle a little bit better. Yeah,
it's lactose. It's the lactose. We get it. We understand it. We understand.
But I made this at the crib. I put my own milk in it. That lactose-free milk in it.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes if I go to a coffee shop and they ask if 2% is fine, I'll be like, yeah, 2% is fine. Knowing that it's probably not. Is whole milk fine? Yeah. I have not crossed that threshold of being able to ask for, can I get that with oat milk or almond milk? Do you have soy available? I can't fix my mouth to ask for it. I can't do it.
You better than me. I mean, you're not better than me because I will go ask. I'd be like, hey, now I know, I don't want, what's your other substitution options you got? They'd be like, man, almond or soy. I don't do soy either. You know what I'm saying? I usually go with coconut milk. That's normally the one
Coconut
I
milk
go
is,
with.
yeah.
Yeah.
But see, the only
More
thing I
so
don't
than
like about those other
almonds
milks,
are better.
they add different flavors, though. It kind of changes the dynamic of the flavor.
It changes it.
That's the only thing. Like you get the almond or you get the coconut or whatever, especially coconut. It changes the
It's never as
dynamic of the flavor that
delicious
you're
as
looking for.
actual. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like, give me the whole milk.
100%.
Give me the whole milk. Give me the 2%. It's whatever. I'll be okay.
You out here thugging. Well, you lawless. You out here thugging with yours, man. And somebody up when you get around them.
Let me just take that. I'm good. I got that.
Man, your parents be furious with you after that coffee, bro. Got to do better, man. But look, what's that you held up right there, though, man? You held up a beautiful case.
Mm-hmm. And
now the foot's being toasted.
Gently toasted with a match at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I saw this bad boy in the humidor, and the presentation caught my eye. It's something about this this royal blue case that says Cohiba on it.
Yeah,
and it just felt like royalty when I saw it, and I had to have it. If you look at the band is even more royal than the case that it came in. It's a beautiful. The camera's not picking it up and doing it justice at all. If you can see this up front, it is nice. This blue with the gold trim. It's a beauty to see. It just spoke to quality. It spoke to Cohiba's echelon of where they operate, and I couldn't turn it down. I had to grab it. So this is a Weller by Cohiba. If you know anything about Weller is a whiskey bourbon, and this is supposed to be perfectly or meant to be perfectly paired with your bourbon, specifically a Weller.
Yeah. Dope.
So it's not like your infused sticks like Maker's Mark or whatever, but yes,
right.
It's meant to be paired.
You know they got bought out too.
Who, Weller?
No, the Maker's Mark.
Oh, Maker's Mark. Okay.
Actually, yeah, the cigar company, the cigar line though, the cigar line.
Oh, the cigar line. Okay.
Who bought the cigar line out? I found this out, man, probably about 2 months ago, and I never brought that to you. While I was in the shop, there was this cigar that caught my eye, and I was asking the guy, I'm like, who is that? And actually, it was because they did the same little melted red thing on the case, but it didn't say Maker's Mark. I'm like, who is that? This is like the Maker's Mark ones. He said, yeah, it's actually the same company, but they changed the branding. Because I think they dropped the partnership with Maker's Mark. But in order to be able to compete,
they still do the dipping though.
Yeah, they still dip the case. But this cigar is a little different also.
Really? So it's probably not infused with that bourbon.
Yeah.
Or if it is infused with bourbon, they might use another bourbon brand, infusion.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But
I can see that.
I should have picked it up now that we talking about it, because
we
used to smoke that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm curious of what my taste buds would think of that today.
That's a good question, because I haven't had that. It's been probably about 4 or 5 years since I've had one. But like you said, we used to smoke that quite a bit. It was definitely a draw. You know what I mean? Especially we talk about manliness. Come on now.
Yeah.
Cigar, fuse it with some bourbon, pair it with some bourbon. Come on. Why not? Of course, we used to pour some ginger ale in our bourbon. Which is still a good. Hey, don't sleep on that mix. It's still a good mix, though. Still a good mix.
It's a damn good mix now.
I drink mine neat now, more so than before.
Yeah, man. You know, life different in your 40s, man. You know,
you grow up a little bit, man. You just grow up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The palate changes, the demeanor changes, and it's like, you know what? I don't need all that extra stuff. I don't need nothing else. Just give me what I'm looking for. Give me the right amount, and it helps you from overindulging as well. Like you get your glass, you pour about that much in it. That's all you need. You sip it slow, smoke your cigar, good to go. That's all you need.
Perfect.
Yeah. So let me give you a few details about this Weller real quick before we move on to what you're smoking, because I'm very interested. I kind of got a preview of what you're smoking. The brand that you're smoking today. So I want to hear about what you got. So really quick, the wrapper's Ecuador and Sumatra. Binder's USA Broadleaf, which is aged in Weller foolproof bourbon barrels. That's what I guess that's the tie with the with Weller and making it be that perfect pair with Weller bourbon. And then the fillers, Dominican, Honduran, and Nicaraguan. So we got a nice little infusion of a lot of things going on, similar to like what I smoked last week, but in Cohiba style, Cohiba version of.
Sounds delicious. Very curious of what you're going to end up saying about that in the end.
Yeah, so far so good right now. I'm enjoying it.
So for me, I have a what is this I'm smoking? I'm smoking the Macanudo Maduro. Macanudo Maduro.
Okay. Yes.
Now, this is where my specs at on this thing, man? Looks like, oh, I got the Diplomat version also. So you can see that on the shape.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I was intrigued by the shape when I saw you lighting it up.
Yeah. It's looks like it's got a Dominican and Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, and it's got tobaccos from Mexico and Dominican Republic also. And yeah, that's what I'm working with right now. That's all I'm seeing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm working with.
Okay, well, shout out to Macanudo. Like I said, I saw that I walked past him in the humidor last week, and when I saw him, I looked at him twice. I'm like, I don't smoke them enough. Every time I've had them, it's been pretty decent experiences, decent to good experiences. Never super duper great, but it's like, you know what? Why don't I visit this brand often enough? So I'm glad you went here because I had that thought just last week, and almost picked up an extra one of those, but I did not. I passed on it again, But hopefully I'll find my way back. Especially if this one smokes really good for you. It might re-engage my interest.
Macanudo is definitely one of those brands that's always on the cusp. You know what I'm saying? They just need something with us to break out with, but at the same time, you're not gonna have a bad experience. You just may not be wild enough to come back all the time. And it's like some restaurants you go to, you like, man, how was it?
Oh, that was a good meal.
Finish.
Yeah,
it was a good meal. Good meal, and then you don't think to come back. but it was good, you know. And that's unfortunately what Macanudo has been. But you know, I'm always intrigued by him. You know, when I see him. And what happened was this actually could have very well been a what's the brand we don't like? You know, I had Brick House last week. Gurkha. I was looking for a Gurkha. Yeah. And instead, I ended up finding a bunch of light skinned Gurkhas. And I said, I ain't smoking this crap. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I ended up looking for something different. Found a Macanudo. I said, you know what? This looks intriguing. And I had Maduro on my mind. So I went with it.
And you definitely got a Maduro because she's a beautiful dark skin.
Yeah, man. She is.
Gotta love it. Well, hey, man. So, something on your mind.
Yeah, man. I've been interested in music again. You know, when I say music, I've been interested in the production side of music again. You know, where I know it takes a while. Like, you know, it pulls me. It might take about 4 months to pull me, but eventually it gets me in. I'm closer than ever to being reeled back in. But I've been interested in listening to other producers talk about music. You know, for some reason, my algorithm feeding it to me and I'm buying into it. So it keep feeding me more. And I come across a lot of the young producers of the tens, early tens, 2010s, 2011, 2012s. And now they're not the young guys anymore. They're not the old guys, but These guys that used to be 20, 21, 22, your Metro Boomins and your South Sides and, different guys from the 808 Mafia back in the day.
Yeah.
They're now early 30
Lex,
guys. You know what I'm saying?
Lex Luger,
Lex
Lex
Luger,
Luger.
Luger.
Who
Yeah, all of
else?
these guys.
Um,
Sunny
Justice
Digital,
League.
somebody Justice League. Well, the Justice League probably like our age, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say them, but these guys, right?
Yeah, they probably are. They
They're
probably are.
but a lot of them other guys
They ran a lot in the 2010s though. Their run was in the
they
2010s.
ran big during that time. Yeah. So a lot of these younger guys now been in the game 10, 15 years. They're 30s now, early 30s, maybe close to mid 30s, They're not the young dudes no more. They ain't the old heads, but they ain't the young dudes. They the OGs. And it's interesting listening to what these guys got to say about today's landscape of music. Because now I'm watching these guys, these guys try to maintain their youthfulness and respect for the youth, all the while they really want to hate on them. And they trying to walk that line. It's hilarious listening to it. Because us as the guys who crossed over in the unk stage, that we're the new old heads, I can just embrace being an old head that just think y'all weird. But these guys that's on that cusp in that middle area, they got to try to, because they remember what it was like when they was getting hated on, just 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now they want to try to be like, they don't want to be the haters that was hated on them, but they ain't feeling it. They are not feeling it. And it's funny to hear it, man. They, because they always try to clean it up. But but guys do what they do. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. They always want to make it seem like it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do what y'all do. But the creativity. Then they go back to that. The creativity.
It always reverts back to that. Yeah, that it's not the same that it was when you did it. But then at the same time, it wasn't the same when the older heads did it that were hating on you. So I kind of get that middle ground that they're trying to skirt because they understand that, hey, it's not the same as how they had to come at it. But then they're looking at the old heads who got on them for the things they did in their innovation and their approach. So they're trying to escape being that. But then at the same time, that innate nature doesn't allow them to escape being that because when it's just different, it's just different. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but you ain't have to do the things shoot, I didn't have to do the things they did either. So I can't be but so mad but at the same time,
and they feel like they feel like dudes is watering it down. Copycat. Why the music? Somebody asked Metro, they was like, why the music ain't why your stuff still hit from 10 years ago and people stuff blow over after like 2 weeks. And he got to try to tiptoe around why he ain't a hater, but why it was better when he was doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just hilarious to hear it. It's like,
hey, but you know what's funny? Like,
welcome to being an old head.
It's funny when you mention that though, because the people that I see that's embracing the way that things are done now musically isn't that generation like the Metro Boomers. It's the generation before them, the Timbalands and the Kanyes and the Pharrells who are doing it a different way. They are embracing the way that things are done now. Like if you watch Timbaland, and sorry to blow up anybody's spot when it comes to music and how music is created. Music is created by these packs. Like there's packs of sounds, whether it's drums or whether it's flutes and pianos and whatever, and they're piecing these sounds together a lot now. There's apps and websites and pre-made loops, and patterns that even your Kanye's didn't necessarily use. They did the chops and the samples, but then they did their drums in a certain kind of way. Your Timbalands, manufactured his drums in a certain kind of way. Your Just Blazes, who did things in a certain manner. But now you have those producers who are before them. They're embracing the new side of the way that these young guys are doing it now. Like I hear Timbaland talking about, using these packs and like it's not necessarily the packs that you use, but it's how you put your spin on it. Same way that we kind of hate, or I guess older musicians hated on people who were sampling and taking sounds and making it their own. They're saying, no, it's an art form to chopping samples and making that sample do what you wanted to do to make it sound the way you needed to sound. Yeah. And they're the Timbalands are looking at the newer kids like, you know what? No, it's cool. It's cool. They're hating less, which I thought would be opposite, because I think if your Metro Boomers was working harder than, or in a certain manner, I'm not gonna say harder, in a certain manner than the newer guys now, you would think that the people who were before then who had to work doubly as hard as the Metro Boomers of 2010s, they would hate on them twice as much. But I don't see the hate.
Yeah.
I see more love. I hear Kanye talking about the way that the AI is being used in music production. He's like, nah, it's cool. Like, why not use it? Why not do this? Why not
I,
have these packs that are manufactured in these sounds? Why not?
but see, I think that that generation isn't hating as much because they come from the production style they come from versus the
Mm-hmm.
production style that a Metro booming, and we keep saying him, but just the guys from that
I
era.
know, right?
Uh, you know, they come from an era where you had to make each sound and put it together. They didn't sample. Timberland,
Mm-hmm.
Kanye, Just Blaze, Pharrell. They come from a sampling era. You know what I'm saying? And even
Mm-hmm.
though Pharrell and Timberland may have sampled less than the other guys, that's what they know hip hop to be. So when you have a loop pack, that's the equivalent of sampling, except the samples
Kind of
went
is.
from old soul records to just somebody creating it for you and giving it to you. You still got to flip it, or you can just loop it. How some dudes used to do. Heat makers
Yeah.
back in the day used to just loop and speed it up.
Just loop that
Kanye
joint. Yeah. Speed it
is
up,
a lot
loop
more
it.
complicated. You know what I'm saying? So, but
The only difference was it's like you had to go find that sound though. You had to find it. You
you
had to
still do.
you had to have the ear. No, not with the packs. I mean, yeah, you got to go find the packs because you
You
got
got
a
to
hundred
find the
sounds to
correct
go
loop.
through, and you got to
Yeah.
go through the sounds. But no, you're not listening to a record, slowing the record down, speeding the record up, jumping from the beginning to the middle to the end, and looking for the sound throughout hundreds of records, and then instead of just hundreds of 5 second loops. It is different. It is different. It's the same
Potato,
idea.
potato.
Potato tomato. Nah, it's the same, but it's different because you still had to go. Like, I was listening to an old couple old songs I did from an album that never came out, and I was like, man, I remember when I went through this record. It was Marvin Gaye, "Hear My Dear" album. I remember buying that, putting it on the record player, and then actually finding this loop by mistake. Just because the sounds were off, the left and rights weren't coming together. So especially back in the day, the way they used to put the sounds together through the reels, you had one sound that was panned all the way to this side, one sound that was panned all the way to the other side. And sorry for music nerds who don't know these type of mechanics, but
Yeah.
only one side was actually feeding through my mixer, and I heard this thing like, yo, I didn't hear this record this way at first. Then I heard it this way, and I heard this one loop, and it was like split seconds I was cutting and putting together. That is something you had to either stumble upon by mistake, and there's such things as perfect accidents, or you had to find that perfect loop for that split second and have that ear that was tuned to it and be able to know that that's something I can use. But now it was like, okay, I got these sounds and I can throw these together, and they're already set in certain keys. This is in a D or E or D sharp or whatever, and I can put these four sounds together. They're all in D sharp, and it's gonna go. So tomato, potato, but at the same time, it is different. It is different. So I can understand the hate a little bit.
I come from the same era you come from in music and the whole sampling. You started on the keyboard and worked into sampling. I started on sampling. That's why I learned
And
it.
you remember how I used to hate? I used to hate on y'all sometimes too, man. I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
had to,
look, I
I had
know.
to hook the keyboard up to the tapes, and I had to, what I'm saying, put my drums on the keyboard, and then go back over and do this, and then every little sound I
Yeah,
had to do.
man,
Hey, flip the tape,
you
flip
still
the tape.
being that guy, man. So look, I
No,
understand
I am
what the
not. I am
process
not.
is
I am
like.
not. I am not that same. I'm not the same. Because guess what?
No, you open to a loop. You know what I'm saying? You open to a
Yeah.
loop. You know what I'm saying? So
Give me them drums. Give me them
I'm not saying you
drums. Give me that
anti-loop.
drum loop.
Yeah. But see, even then, the drum loop, you of course you open to that because that's hip hop. We
Yeah.
always took drum loops. You know what I'm saying? In hip
Yeah.
hop,
Yeah. They
that part is even. That part is even, except you don't have to take it off of a record now. You just take it off. You get stems. But
Mhm.
to me, I mean, yes, they're different processes, but they're very similar processes. It's now easier, and that's the convenience of technology. You can sum it up to that. Technology makes life easier. Somebody makes the loop for you. It's easier.
Yeah. Hey,
Even
look,
now,
man,
if
I
I
ain't gonna
wanted to go
lie.
sample off a record, it's easier now too. I go to YouTube and I
It
go
is
get
easier
it.
now.
I gotta,
Yeah,
so
go to
it's
YouTube, throw it in your joint, or man, matter of fact, yeah. Like how I do it now, like if I sample, I just run the YouTube record it real quick. All right, record that part. And then my equipment allows me to chop stuff up without even having to even do anything. I just go slice. What part do I want to slice? How do I want to slice it?
Yeah.
Chop, chop, chop. Easy.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it.
Yeah. But I think ultimately I think that's why that last generation is a little more mad at it, because they didn't sample. They had to literally every sound you heard in the records, they penciled it in with a mouse. They didn't play it with their keys either. They just moused it in. You know what I'm saying? So,
like, you know how hard it was for me to go and I had to click every single piano roll sound that I needed?
And did it all by ear, because none of them know how to play instruments. So you know what I'm saying?
Like, it's crazy. Like, I used to hate that. I used to hate piano roll clicking. Like, oh, you want this flute sound or this piano sound? I'm just gonna click what notes I want. I used to hate that, but now I can understand the hate for it. Like, you ain't even got to click your piano sounds no more. Just do whatever you want to do. I used to hate sound clicking. I used to hate mouse producers. But at the same time, now I can see their hard work that they had to put in back in the day versus how the guys got it now, and why they have a reason to honestly hate.
Right. Hey, look, I gave respect to them while doing it. Nah, I'm not a clicker either. But I gained respect in the early stages of the clickers. And even though I didn't like it, I didn't like that people couldn't tell the difference between a clicker and a keyboard player. That bothered me, but I did gain respect for them because I actually collaborated with some early on before I knew that's what they were doing. I thought people were still playing keys. So I had this R&B artist I used to work with, and he was like, hey, I want to get you with my other producer. I would love to hear what y'all come up with together. You know, you mind if I bring him by the crib when next time you have a session? I'm like, bring him through. So they started, he had a track he started on. I was supposed to jump in and we were just going to finish the track up. So I thought the dude had been playing the stuff. So I was like, hey, what key are you in? And he couldn't tell me what key he was in. He was like, I just been clicking everything. So I had to go kind of figure it out. And plus the guy that was, the singer was like, hey, this is a little high for me. Can we bring it down a few keys into a different?
He didn't know how to adjust it.
He didn't know how to. So I had to figure out what he played and then redo it. And when he explained to me that he did everything by the mouse, I was like, you played this by mouse? And you didn't know what you were doing. And I was like, that's incredible. Like, you know what I'm saying? But then when he watched me have to reverse engineer his stuff into a lower key on the keys, he was just like, he was impressed by me. So we was kind of like impressed by one another. And then we was able to complete the process. And I was able to, of course, tell him this is what key we in, these are your notes and stuff. But it was just like, okay, I can't even hate on you, bro. You did all that with your mouse and you didn't know what you was doing.
I can't do it. Yeah, because I can't do it.
And it took me like 20 minutes to refigure it out and redo it. And, you know, it was just like, wow. Like, but yeah, so that gained my respect for him. Like, you know, okay, that's tough. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped hating on him after that. But the mouse thing is.
No, I mean, like, honestly, like when it comes to music and musicianship, one thing I definitely learned to do is embrace however the wave is nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Whatever either way that it goes. And just because you embrace something that is new now, it doesn't negate the things of old. It doesn't negate real drum playing. It doesn't it doesn't take away from real piano playing. If you have that skill, you can take that skill and add it to whatever skill that is that you're going to acquire or acquire. That's what I want to say. Acquire and gain from however they're doing it now. So it doesn't negate what you know from past. Keep that, because that's the skill set that you can use. And then whatever is new, you can use that too. And that just makes you more of a dynamic individual when it comes to musicianship. Because now you got those people who can only do it one way, but you got all that past information in your tool bag and in your suitcase and your briefcase from back in the day. Keep that with you. The idea of knowing how to sample without having a slicer. The idea of knowing how to click in. If you learn that, actually knowing how to play the instrument, understanding what keys. And then also embracing, okay, because like that's one thing I definitely started to do over the last maybe 3 or 4 years is learn how to take those loops, add stuff on top of it, knowing what key it's in, playing with it adding some things on top of it, but then also using that to transition things, to build on things, to add depth to things. Like it all goes together. So for those who hate on something that's new, don't hate on what's new. Understand you can utilize that to your advantage with the stuff that you already have in your back pocket, because it doesn't take away from what you already have and what you already know.
Nope, it just adds to it and can streamline your process a little bit. And you know what? What I realized before we close this music segment out, that I didn't realize the importance of. This sounds like basic to any musician that's listening to this, but just your ear is your greatest tool in music. More than any other skill you got, it's your ear. You know what I'm saying? If you got an ear for music, and when I say music, I just mean notes and tones and being able to tell the difference between little nuances and pitches and pitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's your greatest skill you can have, man. And most people don't have that, you know, but you can train it. But you know, that'll take you anywhere. Just that one ability, working on your ear. But man,
well, with that said, I'm hoping it. Wait, no, let's not get into these cigars.
No. Okay.
With that said, are we gonna hear some L&L beats?
Nah,
Jared,
bro, nothing, man. You ain't gonna hear nothing.
Music coming soon. Is that what that means?
Nah, bro. Probably 2025.
Come on, man. Come on now.
I'm gonna get something over for the new project.
Hey, look, no. For those who don't know,
I'm gonna get like a sample over, you know, like a chord progression for the new project eventually. But that's about it.
Hey, look, I still need something.
Yeah,
I still need something for either one of these albums I'm working on. I'm working on 2 right now. I need something for either one. Whichever one you want to, or both. Whichever one you want to contribute to.
Get something for the jazz. I'm open to contribution. I'm interested in just the jazz joint, man. That's it. I don't know about hip hop yet. I don't know if I want to go back to that world. I might just go straight into pop when I leave here, man. Like,
hey,
just be damned.
And for those who don't know, you did produce a song for my album, the Reflection album that came out about a year and a half ago. So production credits, you definitely got them. And you got some projects that's out there too that people need to listen to. Yeah, you got some instrumentals out there that people need to listen to. So yes, go check it out. Go catch the vibe.
Definitely, man. Go catch your vibe, man. I appreciate the
I just had to say that. I just had to say that because you know what I'm saying. We're having this conversation, and your opinion is valid, and people need to know why your opinion is valid. You do this. You do it.
They don't think it is. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter.
People need to know that your opinion is valid because you do this.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, speaking of, man, when we get out of here, I got something to talk to you about off air related to music. Yeah. But
anyway, to the
cigars now. Man, this thing is moving, man. I know I've been hitting it, man, but this is a little bit of a short, you know, like how short story is in length. It was about short story length anyway.
About short story? Okay.
Yeah, where I'm at within it right now. It's been a good ride, man. It's not been it's in Macanudo fashion. You know, I wouldn't say it's been a fantastic, great ride, but it's been a good ride. You know what I'm saying? I've been picking up on some interesting little notes here on it. Been enjoying it. So I ain't gonna get into the tasting notes because it hasn't changed too much. So I don't want to have to repeat that. You know what I'm saying? Once we get back into it at the end. So I'll just say those for the end.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get into a little bit of mine. It's Weller. Look at it. Burn is pretty decent. Better than my burn the other day. I showed you my worst burn in the history of cigars. that is not for public knowledge. The way my burn look, but the burn looks good. Man, this aroma is excellent. A few of these notes that I'm getting, I am definitely getting that aged barrel whiskey bourbon type of flavor that is kind of steady throughout from the first burn, first light to now. Some good wood, oak taste that's in there, some good earth. The tobacco notes are phenomenal. I can't exactly pick out what I have in totality just yet, but what I can say it's a nice ride, man. Probably one of the smoothest rides when it comes to Cohiba that I've had in a while when it comes to Cohiba. This is It's luxurious. I can say that. I can say that for sure at this point.
Dope, Cohiba.
Very, very, very easy smoke, but not easy on the flavor. You know how sometimes you got an easy cigar and it's just easy,
Yeah,
but this is
yeah,
easy with some oomph. You know what I'm saying? You put that car that got some get up and go, but then it
yeah.
handles that 0 to 60 so smooth. You know, it's
Smooth
like you
shit.
going 0 to 60. That's what I have right now. It's a 0 to 60 smooth. Like, oh, I'm at 60 already, and I didn't even notice it. That's where we at.
Hey man, that's about how I want to hear Cohiba would do something like that.
Hey, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah, yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
bourbon, and you know what I'm saying. And I'll expect a couple masculine notes in there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit of some of that. I hate to use the word woodiness, but you know what I mean. That
Yeah, it's
you know,
strong on the woodiness and the oak. It's definitely there. It's definitely
yeah,
there, and I think that that aged barrel bourbon definitely had a part
yeah,
to play in it. On top of the fact that it's just good tobacco that Cohiba is normally used to,
right,
just
right,
took it up a
right.
notch. Took it up a notch. That's all I got to say.
Cool, cool, cool.
So yeah, man, I had some things on my mind, and this is a shift that I'm finding in myself. I've been doing some soul searching. I've been doing some soul searching, and I've been just trying to get to a better part of me and understanding quality of life, understanding how do I want to approach life, the ease of life, even dealing with the tumultuous times, understanding that hey, look, I've had some in the past, and I know I got some coming in the future. It's just the way life is. But it's the approach to the things that as they go around you as the earth continues to rotate day after day after day after day. We can't stop this thing. We can't stop this thing. Only God has the ability to stop this thing. Once we stop, guess what? The world keeps turning. But it's
Right,
how do we conduct ourselves throughout the process of life, and how do we become more proficient in the things that we got to do? We got some tall tasks. We raising kids, you know what I'm saying? We dealing in relationships and marriages and um family and all these things that we have to do in life, work life,
work life.
fitness
Yeah,
life, health life, and so many things, paying mortgages, paying bills, paying car notes, all these things that just continue to go. And they all have to kind of work in harmony in a sense. Has to work in harmony in a sense. Even down to the smallest detail of cooking our food and getting up in the morning and you know what I'm saying, taking care of our living spaces, everything that involves to keep our cars running good, you know what I'm saying, and keep our bodies running at an optimal level. There's so much
right.
stuff that goes on in the day to day that we don't even realize or think about. And if we don't take care of those little things throughout life and throughout our day to day, we can slowly start to lose ourselves. And I feel like I felt like I was in that space maybe a year or 2 years ago to where I was like, man, I'm having a hard time because sometimes we can mask it, right? But then when I was doing some soul search, I already had to realize I had to sit back and think like, man, I kind of let things get, you know what I'm saying, a little unbalanced. How do I get that balance back? And even with not even noticing how unbalanced my life was, but doing that soul searching allowed me to realize that my life is really unbalanced. It's not as balanced as I would like for it to be. I can definitely be more centered. I can definitely be more balanced, and I can definitely be more proficient in a lot of the things that I'm doing. So I came up with this thing. I call it the 100% approach. 100% approach. And by that, it means it's something I'm trying to teach to my kids too. So that as they approach life and things start to accumulate for them in life, that it just simplifies things as best as possible. So sometimes we will cut corners and we'll skimp on things. And then that's when we find that life becomes unbalanced. We get behind on certain things. Our health starts to take a back seat. A lot of things aren't necessarily going the way that we wanted to go. But how do we get there? And I think it's by the 100% approach. And it's by taking the attention of the smallest things in life and doing it to 100% every single time. And by doing things to 100% every single time, it takes care of all the small little nuances throughout life and doing it to completion. So we don't have all these lagging things that are just kind of just dragging to the side. okay, I can take this little 1%, put it aside. If you take a 1% of everything that you got going on in life and you put it to the side, think about how much that accumulates. It accumulates at a great deal. But think about how much effort it would have been to take care of that little 1% that you might have thrown to the side and just shirt up everything that you do to 100%. But now if you do and doing it consistently, because if you do it consistently, you don't have that accumulation of things that just pile up and they pile up and pile up. And then you turn around, you look at all that little 1%, 2% that you toss to the side, and now it becomes this big mound of things that you got to take care of, a big pile that you got to sift through and say, okay, I can take care of this 1% that I put to the side. Okay, I can take care of this little 5% I put to the side. And it just becomes overwhelming because now you have all these mounds of things, of all the things that we have to do and take care of in life. And it just becomes a big pile of mess and it becomes overwhelming. And then now you're sitting back like, man, how do I get this together? Because if things aren't done to 100%, if you don't pay your bill at 100%, guess what? The light's still gonna get cut off. If my bill is 200 and I pay 199, guess what? My light gonna get cut off because I still own. So that's how I was looking at life when I was doing my little soul searching type of deal, and understanding that, man, I gotta shore up everything that I'm doing and doing at 100%. So now when I do it at 100%, I have this expectation, and it becomes simplified, it becomes easy, and it just becomes a way of life that I'm just taking care of things the way they need to be taken care of, inside and out. And I don't have this mound of things that's piling up because I took a shortcut and I took 1% off the top here, 10% off the top there. And now I'm just trying to play catch up and shoring up all these little things I took shortcuts on. That's what I'm calling the 100% approach.
So for you, is it more so a actually ensuring that you complete every task fully? Is that what I'm getting out of this?
Yes.
Just make sure.
Yes. Not in one full swing, right? Because I get there's times where, okay, I can only complete this up to this point, but having contingency plans in place that if I can't finish this up to 100%, that I know I'm going to come back to it as immediately as possible to make sure that this is taken care of, whatever it is, and not taking shortcuts on anything. So I'm trying to get to a point of making sure I'm not taking shortcuts and leaving things to the wayside to where it piles up and becomes overwhelming over time.
What you saying? Yeah, I like that approach to life, man. And to add to it, I feel like I got a sneeze coming. You get over the mute. Nah, but look, to add to it, I also have found for myself with that, I would say two other things that's been important to me and how I know I've messed up as a person is I had to bring on more of a Nike approach. Just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Do it.
Like, yeah, just do it. You know, so there's times where you can find yourself procrastinating on something because you'll give yourself a logical excuse for why it's okay to procrastinate on this. I'm not ready for this yet. I'm not inspired to do it. I'm not prepared to do it. I'm not ready for it. There'll be a better time later to do it. You know, whatever excuse you can come up with. But I found if you just say, hey, just do it. And then for me, focusing on one task, I try to eliminate multitasking out of my life and the just do it mindset. And like you said, if you can complete the task, it's off the list of things that need to be done until it's time for it again or time for a new thing. But that's something that's helped me also. It's completing tasks, just getting started on tasks and focusing on just one thing at a time.
And you know what got me too is when you said that, just doing one thing at a time. I remember maybe a year, 2 years ago, I said this on this show, is that I had a hard time doing more than one thing, right, at a time, and taking care of one task at a time. And I think now looking back at it, it's because I had so much piled up that I didn't have the capacity to do more than one thing or complete one thing at a time. For me personally, that anything that came up, I was like, I got to get past this and get through with this so I can get to the next thing, is because I felt like there was so much that was mounting up that I could only focus on that one thing at a time. And now as I'm kind of clearing things out, like things they're starting to become more open, and I'm able to see the landscape and be able to say, okay, I can attack this and I can attack that and I can attack this and I can attack these simultaneously, because now I'm starting to clear some things out. As I'm clearing it out, I feel like I'm having the ability to tackle and approach things even if it's more than one thing, because I have so much less baggage or so much left that I'm carrying along with me that I can go at things with a little bit more fervor and take care of what I need to take care of and just mount up and get it done. And even with the just do it type of thing, I don't need to procrastinate as much as I used to. Like I would procrastinate too, only because I can only focus on this at this time. After I get done with this, now I can focus on something else. But now it's like, okay, things are starting to open up and starting to clear out. You know, the fog is clearing, it's dissipating. You know, the clutter is kind of clearing up. And as the clutter clears up, I can see more clearly, and I can take care of more things, and I can approach and get more than one thing done at a time. Like I said, I understand that I might not be able to get everything down at 100%, but I can at least go ahead and get started. I can get some headway on this. I can make it happen, and I can see the end state of something that I might be able to start now, but not be able to finish. While I'm finishing this, I can see the end state a whole lot better. That's where I'm getting now with this 100% approach for me.
You know, I think that's a great place to be at. As you're saying that, I'm trying to envision if maybe I'm having a similar situation and don't realize it. But I think for me, what I become bored very easily with a task once I get about 80% done with it. So that's why I have to complete it. I have to force myself to complete it because anytime I get started, once I can see the finish line, I'm like, all right, I'm bored with it. I want to go do the next thing. Like, even if it's something creative, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's something fun,
that too.
I'm like, if I don't force myself to finish it, I'm going to move on. Like, I checking out. So I have to finish the task. That's why I can't multitask. I'll never come back to what I didn't finish. Like, because the new thing's always sexy.
It's more prominent. You know what I'm saying? That's the, like you said, the sexier thing, the more attractive thing, the thing that you want to tackle the most. It becomes that. But then, like, what happens if you get to a point to where, like, man, I really want to finish this. Man, I really want to finish that. And now you got like 100 things that's unfinished. And like, okay, now where do I start?
Yeah. That's the other issue that you run into if you don't ever finish nothing. Now you got a bunch of incomplete tasks that's almost complete, and then that can become overwhelming for you. I learned that through music. Is that hey, man, just get it done? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, trust me. For somebody who you know, I know all too well. You know, I know all too well.
Right.
How long would it take for me to finish a project, or how many projects have gone unfinished? That was definitely me. But look, related to music, you know that.
To relate it to music, I told you recently about how I told you I was completing full tracks and then writing the certain tracks also in a day for exercise. That stemmed from the idea of proving to myself I can complete a task. So it was not just, it was almost like a punishment to me. Like, hey, you got to do this in a day. Get it done. No excuses. You don't get to move on. You don't get to play with nothing new until you finish this. It's like I was creating a discipline for myself. Like, you know, that was not there. Like, okay, no, you don't get to touch nothing new, no new session, no new nothing until you've done this. Finished it. And then I could carry that momentum over into other parts of my life.
I think that's a good mantra to have too. I think that's a good approach too. That if you force yourself to finish certain things, finish certain tasks, finish certain goals that you have, it forces you want to get that done and stand on your word. Hey, I'm going to finish this degree. I'm going to get this associate's, this master's, this bachelor's, whatever it is, this whatever trade I want to do, whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever, trying to build something. I want to make something. I want to paint something. I want to create something. I want to record something. And it forces, like you said, a discipline to get that thing done. And then once you see the finished product too, hopefully it encourages you to say, look, this is what I can do. This is what I can do. I can finish tasks. I can make things happen. I can get it done. So when I have to approach the next thing, I can approach it with a better mindset of, you know, I can complete this. And then like once you have that discipline of forcing yourself to do it, to me, I would think it would become more easier to complete things at a more at eased approach. Like I'm gonna get this done. I might have to force myself to get it done, but I'm going to get it done. Whether I like it at the end or not, that's neither here nor there. But I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna complete this task to my best ability. And if I need to go back and fix some things and tweak some things, at least I know I have this semi-finished product that if I want to make some changes to or make some adjustments to, and then also now set it up the way I really, really, really wanted it, it's
Yeah.
less stress that way.
Yeah. And also to add to your 100% approach, make sure that you're really giving your best effort to whatever it is that you're
Mm-hmm.
working on at the time too. You know,
Because why are you gonna waste your time?
yeah, it's easy to just like, okay, I'm almost done. Let's just force it to be done. But let's don't give up till you cross the
Yeah.
finish. Give your best effort till you cross.
If yes, if I'm gonna cross the finish line and I'm gonna make sure I cross the finish line, I'm gonna make sure that it's worth it. That me crossing the finish line was not just for whatever knownness that I wanted to approach
Right.
something with. If I'm gonna finish it all the way, if I'm gonna go at it 100%, I wanna finish it with the best of my ability, or to the best of
Yeah.
my ability rather.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of, okay, I'm just gonna get it to 70%, whatever, and then like you approach that 70% at a less effort, and then you're just really just wasting effort, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just wasted effort, wasted time when you could have got that done easier to a more satisfactory amount and getting it done, and then moving on to the next thing, but then feeling accomplished in the process of it.
That's the other thing. You feel good once you accomplish it. If you
Mhm.
phone it in for the last 20, 30%, did you even really cross the finish line? You know what I'm saying? Did you really? Or did you just
True,
create an invisible one for
true.
yourself? Because at the end of the day, if you could have, if going back to the school comment that you made about if it's whether it's your degree or whatever, if you had a A throughout the entire 80% of the first semester, and then you end up with a C at the end because you phoned it in at the end, you stopped studying, you weren't prepared for your finals, then did you really cross the finish line just because you got through the class? You know what I'm saying? You didn't give
Yeah,
your best effort.
just
You know
to
what I'm
check the
saying?
box. Just to check the box.
You just checked the box, yeah. When you really had let more in the tank. And you feel better about yourself when you know you gave it your all, you know? So I think more
Mm-hmm.
people, I'm more people, but I think more people need to, be aware of that, making sure that they always keeping it at 100 all the way through,
Yeah, that's the
even when it
100%
gets
approach, man.
tired.
That's the
Yeah.
100% approach, and that's where I'm trying to get to now. And most things that I do, one, so I can feel more accomplished when I get things done. Two, so I can clear things out and approach things with more level headedness, more clarity, and being able to go harder on everything that it is that I want to try to accomplish and do, and just be that much better for myself, and then seeing everything else below it and everybody else that I have reached and touched to be a benefit to it, like, or from it. So that's just where I'm at now with me trying to settle in to where I'm at in life, and just making sure I sure things up so that everybody get the benefit, including myself. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
even when it comes to this podcast, burning cigars. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Music, military, work, family, all of that good stuff.
Right.
Fitness. You know what I mean? Let's go. Like I'm trying to mount up and say, hey, let's get it done. 100%. Nothing less than.
Definitely the best way to be, man. I need to start speaking to you a little more often on the side, man. Let you give me one of them speeches, man, once a month.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm always good for a speech, man. Hey, that's what all my soldiers know me for. Like,
Yeah.
hey, speech coming. Here goes Son Richardson. He about to give us a speech. Here it come. Yeah, here it come. I mean, when I got promoted, about 3-4 years ago, whatever. He's like, I got a speech ready. Everybody like, yeah, here it come. Like, I keep a speech in my pocket, man.
Hey, man. Hey, at least they know. At least they know what to expect from you, bro. But man, you ready to get into these reviews, man?
Yeah, more than ready. More than ready. So what you
Yes,
want to do?
man. I'll kick it off first, man. I'll kick it off first.
Okay, here we go.
So for
Talk
me,
about it.
this week I had the Macanudo Maduro, the diplomat version. This cigar for me was it's a pretty quick smoke. This is probably get about an hour 15 out of this particular cigar, man.
It's not
Hour
bad.
15,
Not
hour
bad.
20, for this
Yeah.
size stick. Um, it has a good construction on it, a decent draw. I won't say the greatest draw, but a decent draw. Um, Pretty nice aroma on it. It's about a medium body stick, is what I would say. Some of the tasting notes I picked up on for it is some cocoa, some cedar, some nuts, a little coffee. Those are pretty much what it was, you know. But these type of sticks, they don't really change, you know, too much, you know. Just like the short stories we talked about, or maybe a nub, you know. It ain't like you just gonna kind of dive into what it is in the stick, and then from there, that's what you got for the
It's
course
right
of
to it. Yeah.
duration. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I had, and that's why earlier during the midway review, I didn't want to really speak on my actual tasting notes because I kind of expected I wasn't gonna get much other than what I've been getting. A little bit of subtle spice in it, but nothing too that pops out at you too much. Just a little bit on the retro. But for me though, that's mainly what I had throughout the course of this stick. I would say Macanudo did what it has done so far. It's been a solid to good stick, but still lacking going to that great stage. So with that being said,
No.
from 1 to 5, I'll go with a 3.8. Above average
Okay.
cigar,
Okay. That's good.
enjoyable cigar. I would revisit cigar, but
But you probably won't.
didn't I probably won't because it didn't wow me. You know what I'm saying?
Like you wouldn't be
I did
mad
enjoy it.
if it was in your stash. But at the same time, you go to the humidor, you're gonna pass by Maganoodle, you're gonna look at it be like, Maganoodle, you nice, but I got Placencia
Yeah.
around the corner. I get that 151.
Yeah, that's what it is. And you know, for those people,
Or Rocky got this new one out.
so if I went to Rocky got this new one out. So if I went to like Big Smoke and they gave me a bag full of cigars and that was in it, I'm like, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? I would feel good about having it. Like, man, they hooked me up. I got some good options in here. If that was one of them. But you know, when you go into the cigar and you have a budget for how many you intend to buy, and then you got to go get your favorites, you got to do some experimenting. Maybe it don't get picked up right away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the downside of a cigar like that. A great cigar that won't, well, a good cigar that may not get replay value for people who are working with a budget. You know, whatever your budget is, your budget can be $100 a week, but if you got a budget,
if you had to choose between a couple of cigars, and I can't remember what you said the price point was, but if you had a certain amount of money and you were going to get a couple of cigars, it's a pick it up or maybe not type of deal. It's kind of what I'm getting from you. I might grab this my father's instead because I'm just a little bit more fond of it. Or the reputation.
Any cigar that falls under a 4 can be that. You know what I'm saying? Also, if you 1 to 5, if you fall under 4, if you anywhere in that 3.5 to 3.9, you kind of fall in that stage. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta be in the mood for exactly what you do for me to pick you up. If I'm going to buy 5 sticks today, you know what I'm saying? If that's my mindset, whatever your budget is, I'm going for 5. I know I'm getting 5. I might get 2 or 3 to play with, and then I might get my favorites.
I'm hoping that Macanudo can give us one. That's one of the names. As a matter of fact, what I want to kind of do at some point is start putting a by name list together of cigar brands that I want to see them in their top notch stick. And starting now, Macanudo, you were on my list. I want to know what your top notch stick is. What's going to be your memorable flagship type of stick? Is it out there? Do they have one? So you're on my list, Macanudo. You want a clock? You want a clock?
Man.
I need to see what your flagship gotta pick it up cigar is, because it's one of those names. Like I said, it's one of the ones I know I looked at a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, and guess what I did? Same thing that you mentioned. I passed them up and went to something else.
Yeah, man.
So I want to see him do it. So you're on my list, Macanudo.
On the bright side for Macanudo, though, you just said it out loud, so I'm sure your phone heard it. So you'll start getting all kind of advertisements for their cigars. So at some point, you'll see what their flagship is. They'll be promoting to you today.
Phone's always listening. Jeez, today, it's gonna be in my feed today. All right, well there we go. You said 3.8 for Macanudo.
3.8.
All right. Well, so Cohiba, a Weller by Cohiba. So shout out to the whiskey bourbon lovers. Shout out to Weller. I need to drink some more Weller. I got a list of some whiskey bourbons I need to get back to. I've been on tequila for a while, brandy for a minute. I need to get back into it. So Johnny Walker Blue. This probably would go good with a Johnny Walker Blue. Definitely Weller too, probably. So I need to grab some of it and get these drinks a shot. Back to my bourbon phase. But this particular cigar, this Weller by Cohiba, definitely one of the better Cohibas that I've had in recent memory. I gotta say that when we did the mashup or the matchup with Placencia and Cohiba, that this should have been one of the ones that went up against Placencia. It is that good. Now, does it beat Placencia? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no because it's hard to beat. Hard to beat that green.
I didn't expect that.
Alma. But at the same time, it is a top-notch cigar. I've had a great time smoking this from first light. Only dig against it that I would say is I had to kind of touch it up and relight it a little bit. My burn did kind of go out, and there's no reason in this environment that I'm in that my burn should have gone out. I think I've been puffing it enough to keep my burn going, so I did have to relight, and it kind of gave me some bitterness and messed up my tasting notes for a minute. And I had to kind of get it back. But with that said, so all the flavors I like I mentioned before, plus I got a little bit of like a toasted cashew type of deal going on now. Kind of where I'm at getting into my second third. It's hitting me with a toasted cashew with some that aged oak barrel taste that's definitely in there. Some good earthy tobaccos that's there. The aroma's really light, really pleasant. Kind of like a flavorful aroma. Not just a regular tobacco aroma, but like a flavorful aroma. Like if you had a flavored cigar that gives off a good aroma, like your Javas or whatever. It's in that vein when it comes to the refreshing aroma that I'm getting off of this smoke as it's burning. Great stick. The ride is nice. The only harshness I had was that moment that I had to relight, and I'm gonna just chalk it up to the relight, burning it right in the middle of my ash here. But other than that, from first light to now, other than that relight, talking about smoothness, ease of smoke with a lot of flavor profile on this particular stick. And with that said, I have to give it an applause, a standing ovation almost even. So Cohiba, if I had to start my list of favorite smokes of 2025, this is definitely in that top 5 at this moment of top smokes in 2025. So I got to give this a rating out of 5. Right now, I'm going to say 4.6. I'm going to say almost 8.47, but I know I've had better that got me in the 4.7. Like the Year to Rat, like Placencia, it's almost there. Maybe it'll get me there as I get down to the finishing of that second third. But right now, 4.6. I really enjoy the smoke. It's like I said, it feels luxurious in the way that it's presenting in the smoke experience.
Dang, boy. That's what it is, man.
Yeah, it's that.
4.6 by Cohiba. Hey,
yeah.
We appreciate y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast, man. Keep your cigars up high. Go get your Cohiba and drink coffee like a man. We out.